Welcome back. Another episode of the Whole Nine Yards podcast. Drew Pien here with Brandon Kokorian. Thanksgiving was yesterday. A couple good games, and probably the game I was looking forward to the most, postponed to Tuesday. We'll just start off with recapping the games. So the first one at 12:30 was Texans at Lions. The Texans ended up pretty much destroying the Lions. It was close for a little bit, but towards the end, it kind of got out of hand. Deshaun Watson had an outstanding day, just building off of his last week against the Patriots. He went 17 for 25, 318 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Will Fuller he had a great day, 6 receptions, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns. Basically, I think we're at the point where, you could have said the last Lions loss, but Patricia's probably done in Detroit. I don't see a way in which he lives past this season. I want to say it was the owner last offseason was talking about that they were expecting results this year, and the Lions are now 4-7, which basically means they're out of playoff contention.
What I was gonna say is if they'd won these last 2 weeks, they would have been 6-5, and they would have had a chance for a wild card spot. But them getting shut out against the Panthers with the backup and no McCaffrey, and then Thanksgiving at home getting absolutely blown out. I wouldn't. I guess he's not going to get fired like this week. He still may. I don't know, but he's definitely not surviving the season. He's definitely done.
Yeah, I personally, I'm not dying to fire him like now. I don't mind waiting until the season's done. If you want to if ownership wants to fire him now, like fine. I don't really care. I never liked this hire as a Patriots fan and somebody who knew Matt Patricia. I never liked him as a defensive coordinator. I never thought his play calling was exceptional. He was very passive. He liked to play the bend don't break defense, even when we had a lot of talent on the defensive side. And he did not coach well in that Eagles Super Bowl. You can definitely tell the difference and the talent didn't necessarily change all that much from the Eagles Super Bowl from the Patriots to the one where they played the Rams. And the defense was completely different. Brian Flores, he technically didn't have the defensive coordinator title, but he was essentially the defensive coordinator. Brian Flores was just much better than Patricia. And I think most of it still is Belichick, but there is Patricia and Flores as like the defensive coordinator definitely still play a role. So yeah, I'm essentially just saying I never liked the Patricia hire, and we're just seeing Patricia be a bad coach. He never has been a good head coach on the Lions. Jim Caldwell, I want to say they went 9-7 the year that he got fired, and Patricia hasn't even gotten close to 9-7. And the Lions team isn't super talented, but I don't know. Like I don't think they're a 4 or 5 win team really, which is what they've been under Patricia.
Looking back between Caldwell and Patricia, though, if you look at Caldwell's tenure, he was 36-28 with 2 playoff appearances. No wins, but still got him to the playoffs. And then he got fired. He went 9-7, you're right, in his last season. And since then, Patricia's been 13-29-1, no playoff appearances, and they've only gotten worse. And the reason that Caldwell got fired, or at least it seemed like that was the main reason, was because he couldn't win big games when it came to just big-time opponents or in the playoffs. And that's the reason they brought Patricia in, coming from Belichick and the Patriots, thinking that he could bring a new environment to the Lions and bring them to success, but that's just been the opposite of what's happened in Detroit. And it's just something that I guess it was a gamble that they took, thinking, you can go from a coach who's been pretty good with you to try to go to another coach who's going to take you to another level. But it seems like we both agree that he just obviously hindsight's 2020, but even when he was hired, I don't know what you thought, but I don't think anyone really thought he was the coach to take them to the next level.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I did not like that hire at all. Yeah, definitely didn't like the hire, and I think it's definitely showing. Moving on to the 4:30 game, Washington at Dallas. And in the previous episode, we spent a solid amount of time talking about our NFC East predictions. And me and Brandon both said that we think that the Dallas Cowboys have a very solid chance to win the division. And we definitely said that this was not necessarily a must-win game, but an important game to win. And the Cowboys came out flat for the most part. It was a pretty close game up until the fourth quarter, really. But I'll let you start, Brandon, with initial reactions to the game.
Yeah, I think it was an even game up until I think the game changed when Alex Smith threw a pick to Jalen Smith and he returned it to the 4-yard line. And I thought like that's not a good sign because it looked like a touchdown. McLaurin chased him down from behind and tackled him. And I just even when it happened, I wasn't like excited because I was like, I don't know if we're actually going to be able to score a touchdown here, which is crazy to think that the momentum just switched. We got the pick. We were at the 4-yard line. We have a chance to tie the game. At that point, it was 2013 Washington, and it seemed like the momentum was going in our favor. We got a couple of defensive stops, and the first play. I mean, the first two play calls were some of the worst play calls I've seen. I don't know what we were trying to do. And then you could say the third play was the pass to CD, and he should have called it. I mean, definitely should have. He dropped it, but you're giving yourself one shot to get into the end zone. Like that's
Yeah.
really what they did. They did a lateral to Lamb, and it looked like it was going to be a throw to Dalton, which I don't know why you're doing that, but he didn't even throw it, and he just took like a 3-yard loss. I just don't know what the
Yeah.
play call was. They were just trying to get like too fancy, and we got a field goal. It was 2016. That's where the game changed because we didn't even they scored 21 unanswered. We didn't even come close to scoring the rest of the game, and our defense fell apart after that. Just everything fell apart, and I think it was because we didn't score. If we score, it's 2020. I think the game is completely in our favor. Going to the fourth quarter, it was right at the end of the third quarter that happened, and from that moment, the game completely shifted back into their favor, and it turned out to be a blowout.
I think the game, if I was to blame one person on the Cowboys, I would probably lean towards Mike McCarthy. I just thought that overall, I thought the fake punt call was, I personally didn't like it. I thought a lot of the fourth down calls were bad and the play calls themselves were bad. Um, I think it was the first fourth down that they went for. I think they were on their own side of the field, I want to say. And it was the one before they QB sneaked it. And I was just thinking that they should QB sneak it. And I think it was a handoff and they
No,
just didn't
it
get
was a
it.
pass. It was a pass.
I just, yeah, that's what
Well,
I
the
was
one thing
just,
I'll say is that it was fourth and inches, which you're right. I think they should just do a QB sneak. I think a QB sneaks always work on fourth and inches. It's so rare that they don't work.
yeah.
Um, but people were saying they give the ball to Zeke, and I honestly I didn't agree with that because at that point we were missing.
Ah, yes. Sorry. No, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, I just remembered. So yeah, I mean, like, I guess you could have argued that that was defensive pass interference, but I mean, I don't
Well, it
know. Like,
was, but
it's just a bad call. Like, I don't know. Like, why even pass it? Like,
well, if you're gonna pass it, at least do like a better pass play. That was just it
yeah,
man coverage, but it was like it was just such a simple route. Like you're just hoping that Lamb can outmuscle. I think it was Fuller who was guarding him,
it was
and it
Darby. I want to say.
yeah, it was Darby. It was Darby, and I mean it was pass interference, but like you can't bank on them just calling a pass interference there.
Yeah,
And
no, I
I mean
agree.
I would have went to Cooper. I don't know why they didn't go to Cooper. Like I don't know why Cooper wasn't the guy instead of Lamb, but even still, I don't really argue with the play call. Again, I don't. I think they should have done a QB sneak. Um, but people were saying to give the ball to Zeke, and as we saw a couple possessions later, he fumbled without anyone touching him, and he's just a shell of himself. Honestly, he's not the same person he was. He's not the same player he was 2016 and 2017. And I mean, he's owed a lot of money these next 3 years, and I really wouldn't be surprised if, not saying at the end of this year, but maybe sometime next year if he gets cut. I, it would be a big dead cap hit, but I think you may just have to take it. He's just not even close to the player that you're paying him for. So what's the point in getting the production that you're getting if he's not living up
Yeah.
to the money?
Yeah, I mean, he may just get cut, like whatever, like what happened to Todd Gurley. I don't know. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I thought it came down to the fact that I felt like Washington was better on, they had that fourth down conversion where the Cowboys had to stop on third down. And I was thinking that Washington was just going to punt it, and they went for it and they got it though. I don't know. I just thought that Mike McCarthy got outcoached by Ron Rivera as a whole. And I guess like a fake punt call is more special teams and, going for it on fourth down, like the specific play call is going to come down to the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. But I mean, I don't know. I still put a call like going for it on fourth down. I still put that on McCarthy. Like if he wanted to veto that, like he could just be like, nah, like we're just gonna punt it or whatever. Like, and I thought the fake punt call, I thought that was like the worst. Like I thought that was worse than the first fourth down conversion that they didn't
Well,
get.
it
Like
was yeah, it was supposed to be a pass, but I don't know. He was like it was 4th and 10, and he was basically 10 yards beyond that. So it was like 4th and 20 from where he was throwing the ball. I don't know. It just didn't make any sense. And you still could
yeah,
have punted if you just punted the ball. It was still 20-16 at that point, and there
yeah.
was.
I thought that. I mean that. I thought that's why. That in my opinion, that was where the game. I mean, you're probably right. But I thought like
I mean,
after
the
that
game
after that fake
definitely.
punt, like
Yeah, it was
once they
definitely
scored, I was like, all right, this might just be over. Like,
it was definitely over after that because then they scored a touchdown the next play. But
yeah,
I think when we didn't score that touchdown to tie it at 2020, I think that's really where the game changed because I mean, how do you have the ball at the 4 yard line and you can't score a touchdown on 3 plays? That's just ridiculous.
yeah. No, I agree.
You can't like you shouldn't win a game if you can't score. Like we got into the red zone I think 3 times and had 3 field goals. Our only touchdown came on the 54-yard touchdown at Cooper. So every time the Washington got into the red zone, they scored a touchdown, and that's the difference in most games is that if when you get in the red zone, you have to convert.
So I'll ask you this: do you still think the Cowboys win this division, or
I would say I would say it's the Giants division to lose, but I'm not out on the Cowboys yet, only because, and we'll get into it, but the Ravens, they've had all these COVID problems, and Lamar Jackson has it, and their Steeler game got pushed back to Tuesday, and then Cowboys are supposed to play the Ravens next Thursday, but then that got pushed to Monday. So I'm not sure if he can play in that game or not. I think we'll know more probably next week. It seems like he probably can play in that game, but if he can't and we could win that game, it's not like this loss doesn't matter, but it definitely cancels it out. In that our schedule is still, I mean, after that Ravens game, our schedule is so easy. We go Bengals, Niners, which could be a tough game, then Eagles, Giants. So even the way that we played, like if we can somehow win that Ravens game, and hopefully Lamar doesn't play, at least being a Cowboy fan saying that, I still think we have a shot. But obviously, if we lose that game, then it's over. But I would say right now it's
well, I don't
probably
think
the
you have to
Giants.
win the Ravens game.
No, I would say you have to. We'd be 3-9.
I mean, like you. I mean, I guess I don't know. Like you don't have to. I mean, I don't know. Like you could lose that and then beat the Bengals, beat the Niners, beat the Eagles, and beat the
I
Giants.
mean, I guess if you win out, but you're also banking. You're banking unless winning out.
I'm not banking on it. I'm just saying
Well,
that you don't
I mean, you
have
have
to
to win
win.
out.
Well, yeah, but like I'm just saying you could win out. Like I don't know, like you could. I don't know. I don't think if the Cowboys have to win the Ravens game to win the division, then there's no way the Cowboys. I would be
Well, how about if
very
Lamar doesn't
surprised if
play?
the Cow. I still would pick the Ravens.
I would pick us. That if Lamar's not playing, there. I mean, we've never. It would be RG3, I guess, would be a quarterback. Do you really trust RG3 to win that game?
I mean, the question is, do I trust the Cowboys to win the game? I don't know. Like
You're right.
I'm pretty down on the Cowboys after watching Thanksgiving Day game. I don't know.
Well,
Like,
the one thing that hurts is that Zach Martin's out for a couple weeks, so our
I
offensive
think
line
it's
is
more than a couple
completely.
weeks.
Well, they said a couple weeks. It was
Yeah.
only a calf injury. It wasn't like an ACL or anything like that. But him being out means we only have one starter on our offensive line who's started before this season for us, and he isn't that good in Connor Williams. So I don't have faith in our offensive line, but I think we just have to. I don't trust the running game at all. I think we should just be a passing team completely. I just don't see how we can run the ball effectively. I think the Minnesota game was just an outlier. I think having Martin in there at right tackle made the difference, and with him being out now, we have no offensive line.
Yeah. I think for me, I don't know, dude. Washington has a chance. Washington has a chance, I think.
I think they have a chance because their defense is good, and well, I think the stat about their secondary being the number one pass offense, that's one of those stats that you don't really pay attention to only because they've been losing in a lot of these games. So like people aren't really throwing the ball against
Yeah, I
them.
mean, yeah, no, I
That's not like
agree.
I don't really look at that stat and be like they have the best secondary because I mean we were throwing the ball pretty effectively against them, and then it just got to a point where it we just couldn't even move the ball. But their defensive front is really good, but I mean I don't trust their offense at all. And I know they put up 41 points, but I still don't
Yeah,
trust their
no, I
offense.
agree. I don't trust their offense, but I think I like Washington more than I like New York. I just think New York has the easier schedule
They do,
by.
but I don't know. I like the Giants better than Washington. So would you pick Washington to win the division? I mean, that's what it seems like you're saying.
Well, I know this. I know Washington has one more win than every team in the division.
But the Giants do have 2 wins against Washington.
That is true. Ugh, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think I'm gonna pick Washington. I might even stick with my Cowboys pick. Actually, I don't know. That's a tough one to.
If they win the Ravens game, then I would stick with them.
Well, and that's a big if though. But
It is a big if, but again, if Lamar doesn't play that game, I think we win that game.
I still, you know what? I will say. I think I'll stick with my Cowboy. I don't know. I honestly, I really don't know. I could see any team winning this division, and I haven't talked about the Eagles that much, but
I think they're out of it. I mean, if you look at their schedule, like we talked about last week, there's just no way they win any of these next 4 games. And even if they win one, it's that's going to be tough if they're 4-9-1. I mean, you'd assume the Giants or Washington or even Dallas would win 2 games over that stretch.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the Eagles get a couple upsets.
They would need it.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I think every team has a chance to win, but I don't know. I guess I won't even. I guess I'll just stick with the Cowboys pick for now, but definitely not nearly as confident in it after Thanksgiving.
All right. Well, speaking about the Steelers and the Ravens, like we said, Lamar did test positive for COVID, and I think I think a couple of their running backs did also, and a couple of people on defense and some people on offense also. But they were discussing. So it was supposed to be Thanksgiving night game. Then they moved it to Sunday at 1:15, and now it's Tuesday at I don't know if it's at like 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I think it's at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. And then the Ravens were supposed to
Eight.
play the 8 o'clock. Okay. Then the Ravens were supposed to play the Cowboys Thursday night. Next week, Thursday night football. That's now moved to Monday night at 5 o'clock. And a lot of people have been saying, should the game have been forfeited and counted as a loss for the Ravens and a win for the Steelers? Because Roger Goodell said this earlier in the year that if a team didn't follow protocols and exposed themselves to an outbreak and the other team that they were supposed to play followed everything and did everything correctly, then a possible punishment could be a forfeit for the team that didn't follow the rules. He said, to quote, protocol violations that result in virus spread requiring adjustments to the schedule or otherwise impacting other teams will result in additional financial and competitive discipline, including the adjustment or loss of draft choices or even the forfeit of a game. So a lot of people have been saying should have been a forfeit on the Ravens because they didn't follow protocols. And the Steelers, earlier in the year, they lost their bye week because the Titans had an outbreak. So they lost their bye week and had to play the Titans on a I think it was like a Monday. I think they had to play them, and now this has happened to them again. So a lot of Steeler fans and a lot of people across the NFL have been complaining about that. So I don't know what you think about it, but I wouldn't be. I mean, obviously they're going to play now, but I mean, obviously the loss of money that it would have generated would have been huge. But I mean, for what happened, I don't know. I think it's kind of close. I think you definitely could have forfeited it if you wanted to.
I would definitely not have a problem if the league forced the Ravens to forfeit the game because it kind of cheats the I mean, I don't know if it cheats the Cowboys because like I don't know if I count like the Ravens getting Lamar Jackson back for that game like cheating the Cowboys, but I just I don't know like what do we know what specific like protocol the Ravens broke or anything? Like
I
I don't know.
think it
Do
was
we
like
know?
I think it was like a staffer who maybe I don't know if he broke the protocol or not, but he got exposed to it, and then everyone else got exposed to it. So someone didn't follow some sort of protocol with it, and it happened on like Monday or Tuesday, like right after their game. So it was
Yeah, I mean,
something
I don't
that
know. Like, I would not have a problem with it. Like, if we're talking, if when we're talking about the NFL, like these people are all paid so much. I mean, I guess I don't know about a staffer, but like, I don't know. It's your job. You're getting paid. Like, if you're getting COVID, like, I mean, that's your fault unless you're really, really unlucky. But if we've got proof that like this person broke this protocol or whatever, like I would have no problem with saying, all right, Ravens, you have to forfeit this game. Like, I mean, they
yeah.
basically already forfeited it. I mean, I don't know, like,
And if they just got it, like if you just get it from you did everything right and you still got it, then obviously the NFL can't do anything. But if they did break protocol, I think they should definitely get punished in some way because I mean, earlier in the year, like the Patriots had to play without Cam and a couple other players. Like some other teams have had to play with missing players, and it seems like for the Ravens, it seems like they're just pushing everything back. I mean,
well,
I'm not saying they're treating them differently, but it seems like they have enough guys to play, so why can't they play?
yeah, like the Pats game got postponed as well. And Cam tested positive, but I mean, obviously, like they had enough players to play. I think, when they push these games back, it's more so just for contact tracing and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, the Ravens do definitely have enough players to play, so it doesn't necessarily make sense why they push these games back. I think it annoys me. Like, I'd rather just play the game and not have to change games around in the schedule and stuff like that. I also don't want to have a week 18 or whatever it would be. If like, I don't want to do that. Really, I don't want to.
Yeah, because that would screw the Steelers if they had to play. It doesn't seem like they're going to, but like if they had to play a week 18, then you're basically taking away, unless you push everything back, you're basically taking away their bye if they do end up with the number one record. So like that wouldn't be fair to them.
Yeah,
And
no, yeah.
it's also like I guess you can't do this, but like if the Steelers wanted to play and they were okay with it, even if like maybe it went to their team. Also, like the COVID went to their team, even if they played. Like the other team wants to play, I almost feel like you should play.
I mean
I mean,
that's a tough
I
call,
don't think you
but
could do that. But I'm saying, like, if the Steelers did want to play, then I don't know. I feel like you could play.
yeah, you definitely could. I guess. I mean, you'd have to ask whoever if the postponing of the game is due to or what it's due to. Like, is it because they have to contact trace and whatever, or is it just to help the Ravens out? I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, it's it's definitely unfair to the Steelers with everything that's happened to them this season. But I mean, I guess they're still gonna get the games in, so I guess it doesn't matter as much.
I mean, the Steelers still net benefit from this just because I mean they don't have to play Lamar now, so
Yeah, I mean, you'd think it's almost a guarantee win, but
yeah, it basically is. If they lose this game, they have no excuse. So
yeah, it would look terrible if they lost that game. But
yeah,
uh, yeah, it's I guess again they're still gonna play it, but I don't know.
yeah,
It seems a little just a little unfair. That's all.
yeah. All right, we'll move on. We'll go to predictions for Week 12 post Thanksgiving games. So accounting for the Thanksgiving games, I predicted both of them wrong. I picked Detroit and I also picked Dallas. Brandon, I believe you picked the Texans, so you had that right, but you
Yeah.
also picked Dallas, which was wrong. So my record is 9-13, and Brandon's is 7-15. So gonna have to work on that, but I guess we'll just get into the first game. I'll let you go first with this. Titans at Colts. Colts are -3.
This is a tough game because I've been high on the Titans all year, and then lately the Colts have flipped me onto them. So this is at Indianapolis, which obviously gives favors the Colts, but I'm gonna go Titans.
It's essentially saying if it was a neutral field that it'd be a pick 'em.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
that's I'm gonna go Titans, even with the way the Colts have been playing, and
you
they've been.
picked the Colts to win the division, by the way.
I did pick them to win the division, but in this, I don't know who's gonna win this game, but I'm at least gonna go Titans.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna go Titans. I picked them to win the division.
Do you
You
think
know, they
are you picking
they
them to
get
win the
three
game
points.
also?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick them to win the game. I'm gonna pick them to win the game.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll also take the 3 points, which is nice. But yeah, I'm gonna pick them to win the game outright. I predict that the Colts will have a tough time stopping Henry, and think I think that's gonna be a bit much for the Colts. I
yeah,
think
I think
Rivers has the potential to just not play well. Like, I mean, he's never been consistent. Well, not never, but past couple of years he has not been consistent at all. Would not surprise me if he goes out and throws 2 picks.
yeah, and this is the time of year where Henry's gonna get going, and it's gonna be harder and harder for defenses to stop him. And if you
Yeah,
look at Ryan Tannehill's numbers this year, he's actually been one of the top quarterbacks in the league, despite everyone always thinking that it's just Henry in the offense, but he has 22 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and his QBR is seventh in the league. So he's been a top quarterback this year.
yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge Ryan Tannehill guy, but I mean, he's done his job and he's done his job well. I don't. I would not say he's the seventh best quarterback in the league, and I don't think he would either, most likely.
No,
But yeah, I mean, he's definitely played like an above average quarterback so far this year. So definitely, yeah, I'm going to take the Titans. We'll move on to the next game though. Chiefs at Bucks. Bucks are 3-point underdogs here. I'll let you go first.
uh, I think you have to go Chiefs. Um, I think they're just the way better team, and I think really when you look at the Bucks, I think the no training camp really hurt because Brady, coming from New England, 20 years, comes to a completely new team, new system, new players, new coach, new everything. And them not having that time to get to know each other and feel comfortable with one another and all the additions that they've made on offense, I think should really hurt them. And I think not this game, but I think starting the week after, they're going to start feeling better. Like, I think the chemistry is going to start coming along. And by the time the playoffs come, I think they'll be fine. But I think this week, I don't know if they're going to struggle or not, but they're definitely going to have a hard time against Kansas City. And it doesn't help that they're playing Kansas City, so I'm going to go Chiefs.
Yeah, I can definitely see going Chiefs here. I'm gonna take the Bucks. It might just be because that's who I'm gonna be rooting for in this game, and I like to root for the person, like the team that I pick for or whatever. But part of me also just, for some reason, feels like the Bucks are gonna rebound. I don't know why. Brady's had, I guess I can say Brady's had like a good time against Mahomes so far, and that was in New England, so it's completely different now that he's on the Bucks. But Brady's won more the important games against Mahomes. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I'm feeling the Bucks, and it's definitely just a homer pick because Brady. But yeah, I'll take the Bucks. The 3 points is nice. The Bucks are home. It's not technically a prime time, like it's not Sunday Night Football, which helps them probably,
Yeah.
just because the Bucks have played so poorly in prime time. But yeah,
You think
I'll take the Bucks.
you think the Bucks win?
Honestly, no, but
Do you think it comes down to like the wire, or you
yeah,
think
I
it's like a
think it
backdoor
does.
cover?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I do think the Bucks win. I don't really know what I think, but I don't know. I think it'll be a close game regardless. So I don't see Brady coming out and getting embarrassed by the Chiefs. I really don't.
No, I don't think he gets embarrassed, but I think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are up like 10 points like the entire game, and it kind of just it goes back and forth, but they win by like a touchdown. That's what I mean. Again, I picked the
Yeah,
Chiefs, so
maybe. Definitely. Yeah, I'll take the Bucks though. We'll move on though. Next game, Bears at Packers. Packers are favored by 9.5. I'll go first here. I'm actually going to take the Packers here. By the way, Trubisky is starting for the Bears this week instead of Nick Foles. Whatever that matters. I'm going to take the Packers though. It's 9.5 is definitely a lot, but I don't like the Bears. I don't like their offense. I don't like Trubisky. Their defense is solid, but not solid enough in my opinion to cover this 9.5. So I'll take the Packers.
I'm gonna go Bears. I think putting Trubisky back in there may create like a spark or something to get the offense going a little bit. And he's definitely more mobile than Foles is, so that's another aspect of their offense that they can use is that he can run the ball and at least evade pressure way more than Foles did. I don't like him, like you said, like you don't like him. I don't like him either, but I think him just coming back into the starting role, and again, he was 3-0 when he started. They weren't the prettiest wins, but I mean, you're 3-0, so you can't really argue with that. I don't think they win, but I'll take 9.5. I
Yeah,
don't.
no, that's
I don't think the
fair.
Packers are a team that just like blows someone out. I don't know. Especially a division game, Sunday night game. I don't see the Packers like blowing them out. So I'm gonna go Bears.
Yeah, I think the Packers rebound off that Colts loss. I don't know. I just think that I just don't like the Bears. I'll take the Packers. Take them. I think they win by more than 9.5. I think they win by 2 touchdowns. I don't think that's
I'd be
unrealistic.
surprised if they win by that much.
Maybe. Next game, Chargers at Bills. Bills are favored by 4.5. I'll let you go first on this one.
Whew, Bills. Okay, Bills are 4.5. I'm gonna go Chargers. I think the way the Chargers have been playing, they've run into some bad losses, but the way Herbert's been playing, I think there's no doubt about it. He's offensive rookie of the year. Even if Burrow was healthy, I think it would still be Herbert. So I just
I mean, it just
like
might be rookie of the year in general.
yeah, rookie of the year. What I said, offensive rookie of the year. Yeah,
Yeah.
rookie of the year. Yeah, I guess yeah, he'd be rookie. I guess he could be both, right? So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I just their offense is so dynamic. They don't really have a run game. They've gone through like 5 running backs, but their receiving weapons and Herbert, I think, can lead them to points. And Buffalo, I mean, they've been pretty inconsistent this year. Seems like they play a lot of tight games. So I'm gonna take the Chargers with that 4.5, and it might be like a backdoor cover, but I think the Chargers can cover that.
I agree. I'll take the Chargers. I just think that Josh Allen's, he's had his moments this year for sure. He's also had some not good moments this year. He's not consistent. That's all I'll say, or at least he hasn't proven to be consistent. So for that reason, and also the Bills' defense is just not as good as it should be, and it's just not that good in general. I'll take the Chargers. Yeah, like I really like Herbert. He's played well this year. I think they'll score a lot of points. I agree. It definitely could just end up being like a backdoor cover or something like that. Like they get a touchdown last minute, try for an onside kick with like a minute left, don't get it. Bills win by 3 points, something
Yeah,
like that.
I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that might be the most likely scenario. Who knows? But I think the Chargers put up a fight for sure. So I'll take the 4.5.
Do you think, with the way Herbert's been playing and the way I think we both see him as being like a top quarterback going in the future, do you think the Dolphins would regret not taking him?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely could regret it in a couple of years or a year, maybe even by the end of this year. Who knows? Okay, I got to reset that too. Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins definitely could regret it by as early as the end of this year, but I think right now, I don't think they regret. I don't think they regret it. I mean, it's just we just haven't seen enough of Tua, and we've seen that Herbert has been, he's arguably played like a top 10 quarterback already. I mean, but we also have not seen nearly enough Herbert to say for sure this guy is like a legend or something like that. So I don't think the
No,
Dolphins are regretting it now, but they could in the future. I mean, that's obvious. Like,
I mean, even like, I mean, looking at their play, obviously, Herbert's been better than Tua, but going into it, I mean, Tua had injury concerns, and it didn't really. I don't know. I was never at least a big Tua guy coming out going into the draft. I don't know if you were, but
Tua is my favorite
he
coming out.
was.
Like, yeah, yeah,
All right, he was probably third. I definitely went Burrow, Herbert, and then Tua. So maybe it's just me thinking that way. Obviously, we haven't seen enough. Like you can't tell off one year. Like there's no film on these guys. You can't really tell. You'll see in the next like 2 years, I would say. But with the way that he can play and the way that his arm plays, I mean it's tough. And the way like the stuff that he's showing already, him going through progressions and seeing defenses,
yeah.
it's pretty mature stuff from someone who's in his first year.
It definitely wouldn't surprise me if the Dolphins already regretted it. I don't think they do. I personally would still take Tua over Herbert right now. And I know that's maybe a bit of a hot take, but I mean, yeah, it comes down to we've still seen that we've seen that. Uh, okay, we know that the whole no film thing is obviously a thing with rookies, and I still question Herbert's personality traits. As dumb as that sounds, and it was a thing coming out of Oregon for him. I right now as a rookie, nobody's focused on it. Almost like if you remember Andrew Wiggins coming out in his rookie year, he put up some solid numbers. I think he actually won Rookie of the Year that year. And, people weren't, people thought he might have been, I mean, he was probably going to be good, but I don't know if he has that, like, that grit, that chip on his shoulder. That's, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, whatever, Patrick Mahomes, like these players have. I don't know if he has that. And I don't know if he has the leadership qualities. I mean, we'll see. I I guess I want to see the team play well. And even just something like simple, like just this week, if the Chargers were to come out here and convincingly beat the Bills, like maybe my mind would start to change on something like that. But right now, I still definitely have concerns about Herbert's personality. As
Well,
dumb as that sounds, I mean,
yeah, it definitely was like some sort of problems coming out of college. But the one good thing that Tua has is a head coach that's gonna be one of the top coaches in the league if he isn't already a top coach in the league in Brian Flores. While
yeah,
Herbert, Anthony Lynn, he's gonna get fired at the end of the year, so we'll have to see who they get for him. But I think based on that hire, you could really see how good the Chargers can be in Herbert because, a wrong hire could set you back 2 years, while a good hire can excel you to being a playoff team possibly. So I think we'll see who they hire. I'm not sure who they're even looking at, but Anthony Lynn's definitely not going to be the coach at the going into next year. So that could be a big decision for them and for Herbert.
Yeah, for sure. I think if Anthony Lynn's not fired after this year, that would be, I mean, that would be horrible. But yeah, I'm curious to see who they could get. Like, like I don't know, would they be able to get like a Lincoln Riley? Like, I'd assume you'd go for like, whatever that young offensive-minded coach, like that Sean McVay type of Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, or whatever. I'd assume you're Cliff Kingsbury, like somebody like that. But I don't even know if you'd be able to get somebody. Who knows? But I mean, like,
You
would
mean like
Lincoln Riley go to the Chargers? I don't know if
like
like Herbert, huh?
Eric Bieniemy, possibly.
Possibly.
I mean, you would think offensive coach. I mean, that just seems like everyone does go offensive coach. Doesn't mean you have to, but
Doesn't mean you have to, but
Anthony
I
Lynn
feel
was a
like
defensive coach, so
I think when a team has a young quarterback that has shown potential, teams usually go with like the young offensive coach. Like the Cardinals did it,
Bengals did it.
Bengals did it. You could argue the Rams did it, hiring
Yeah, they
McVay.
definitely did that.
Yeah, I mean Niners. Garoppolo. I don't know if Garoppolo is young, but he was definitely like.
It's an inexperienced quarterback.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I think they probably try to go with some young offensive coach. Who knows who it'll be? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. Last game here. Cardinals at Patriots. Patriots are 1.5-point underdogs. I'll go first here. I will start off with I'm not super confident in who to take here. I think the Cardinals are the more talented team. I know Larry Fitzgerald is not going to be playing this game. He tested positive for COVID. Not that he's like the best player ever anymore, but I'm going to take the Pats here. I think that they're very desperate. I don't, me and Brandon both say that, the season's over for the Pats. They're probably not making it. They'd have to win out. But that doesn't mean that they're not desperate for a win here and that this is a must-win game. So I'll take the Pats.
Yeah, I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna go Cardinals. I I just don't see the Pats. I think it's definitely gonna be a tough game. I don't see this being an easy game for Tyler at all. But I think the Cardinals are just a better team and they'll come out on top. And I think the Patriots play tough in this game and they're able to run the ball, which is something that they weren't able to do against the Texans, which hurts them. They really need to run the ball to be able to have an offense that can score points and keep pressure off their defense, which has been good this year, but not great. But if you can control the clock a little bit, then it helps them out. But I don't know. I see the Cardinals just coming out on top at the end, and it's definitely going to be a close game, though.
Yeah, no, I think it'll probably be a close game. I think Murray will have a bit of a tough time, but Belichick has always kind of had trouble with mobile quarterbacks, and Murray is about as mobile as they get. So I think that'll be difficult. Wilson, even in his young years, had success against Belichick. So I think Murray will have a bit of success, although it will be a bit of a rough game for sure. I think the Patriots being home is obviously huge. The Patriots weren't home last week against the Texans. They were against the Ravens. So, being home is going to be important. This is a very inexperienced Cardinals team against a not talented, but still, obviously this Patriots team is very experienced. They've been in big moments. They're not afraid or whatever you want to call it. I'll take the Pats. I think they win the game outright. I still think the Pats season is done, but I think Belichick's desperate for this win. This team is desperate. They need this win. I don't think that they'll go down this easily. So I'll take the Pats.
Gilmore's playing, right?
I believe so. He played last. Yeah, he should be playing.
That would be a great matchup on the outside then.
Yeah,
Him and Hopkins.
I've been a bit. I've been a bit lower on Gilmore as the year goes on, but
Do you think they should have traded him?
I don't know what they got. But I
I
mean,
mean, yeah, the offer may have not been there, but
if it was anything involving a first round pick, I would say yes. Yes, they
I
should
think
have.
they were looking for a first rounder and a player.
Yeah, I bet they got a first rounder, but just a first rounder. I don't know. Who knows? If they got a first rounder, I would say yes, they should have taken it though.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if maybe my answer would be slightly different had they convincingly beat the Texans coming off that Ravens victory. Maybe my answer would be different before the Texans game even happened. But yeah, I mean, 4-6, Gilmore ain't gonna do nothing on this team. Like he's not, I don't know. So I think, yeah, probably should have traded him for a first. All right, that's going to wrap up the predictions, and that's also going to wrap up this episode of the Whole Nine Yards podcast. Hopefully, after this week, I'm above 500. Who knows? But Brandon, you have anything to say before we call it?
I just hope that Cowboys can win next week's game against the Ravens, but I guess we'll see. But if Lamar's playing, they won't. But if he isn't, then I think they win, and then I think they win the division. But we'll have to see.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it. So, we will be back after the games.